What's up, you guys? I hope everyone is having a really good week, a really good day. I'm just checking in with you guys here in my office as usual to talk about some of the things that have been going on at eBay. We have changes to promoted listings. The CEO has resigned, so there's a little bit of turmoil. I just want to give you guys my thoughts, my 2 cents.
And that's my 2 cents.
I don't know. Again, I am not the biggest eBay seller. I haven't been selling for the longest time. This is just my 3rd year selling on eBay, so I don't have tons and tons of experience. I've sold thousands of things. I love the platform. It's made me a lot of money, but again, I'm not the veteran seller that may have the best perspective. So just keep that in mind, but I am going to share what I know and what I have been told by some employees at eBay themselves. So I kind of have it from the horse's mouth, what is going on. So that being said, let's just jump right into it. So what I have gathered, and from what I understand and from what I have been told by eBay, promoted listings no longer will show up as both promoted and organic if someone searches the search terms that pull up your item. So it's either going to show up as only promoted or only organic and not both. Now, sites like Google show, if you type in Marriott for Google, you'll see the Marriott ad, Marriott.com, and you'll see Marriott.com show up organically. So sites like Google have it twice, but eBay, to, as they say, clean up the buyer experience a little bit, is deciding to remove that functionality and show just one or the other. So what does this mean for you as a seller? If someone searches for the search terms that might pull up your item, whichever one ranks highest, promoted or organic, meaning ranks highest in search, is what will show up for the buyer. So here's what eBay told me when I asked why promoted listings were changed to be only promoted or only organic, and the reasoning behind that. First off, huge props to eBay for even answering our questions as sellers, because other platforms, Amazon, would not answer or care about what you think. So it's nice that eBay is actually reaching out and took the time to respond to my questions. So here's what I was told. If the listing places higher in search as promoted, it will show as promoted and not a second time as an organic placement. If the listings place higher in searches as organic, it will be shown organically and not a second time as promoted. This is a better buyer experience and cuts down on confusion due to duplicate listings in search results. So the reasoning behind it all is really to improve the buyer experience, so the buyer isn't seeing multiple of the same listing right under promoted, they see organic and vice versa. So it's just a way to clean up the experience for the buyer, which I understand. Is it kind of a bummer for the seller? Yes, because who doesn't want their listing showing up a few times if they can? And one of the benefits of promoting your listing was to have it show twice if the search terms were similar enough to have them pull up pretty close together. Because as we all know, the more eyes on your stuff, the more chance that you'll get to have your item be sold. The second part of our communication was regarding ad blockers, because the problem with this is if promoted listings are recognized as ad content for certain ad blockers, they won't show up at all, which means if your listing ranked for a promoted listing, it will not show up at all for that buyer if they're looking for your item. So that's something that's kind of concerning and concerned a lot of sellers. But the question is, how often does this affect a seller? Okay, so let me read to you what I was told from eBay themselves. Regarding ad blockers, they are generally intended to block intrusive ads like pop-ups that disrupt the user experience. We have designed our promoted listings ads to align natively with our site experience, and most ad blockers do not block that sort of non-intrusive content. However, there are a host of ad blockers on the market, and each maintains its own user settings and policies distinguishing between intrusive ads and acceptable native content. Currently, our data suggests that promoted listings are being blocked for less than 2% of traffic. Like other marketplaces and social networks, they're constantly evaluating user experience, including the impact of ad blockers. So that's something that they are working on, okay? So what that tells us is if someone's using ad blockers and they're shopping on eBay, the promoted listings, for the most part, 98% of the time, according to eBay's data, will continue to show up. So that's something to consider. So yeah, the big question is though, will I continue to do promoted listings? Because I've been asked that a lot. When all this went down, my DMs blew up, my emails even blew up, comments on YouTube, I saw so many just asking, what are you going to do with promoted listings? Should we continue to do it? And again, please don't take advice from me as though like I know everything. I don't know everything. I'm figuring this out right along with you guys. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know everything about eBay and know what's best for your business. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with my business, and maybe you can take that into consideration. For me, because I sell mostly pre-owned fashion on eBay, and I only promote my listings at 1%, and I haven't seen a decrease in sales, things have been fine, I'm going to continue to use promoted listings at 1%. And here's my reasoning behind this. Promoted listings have accounted for over $700 in sales for me in the last 31 days, and my fees for those sales are only $7. So I'm not really bothered by that very much. The question is, of course, if I took the promoted listings away, would I still have as many sales as I currently do, or maybe more? Like, I don't know. But like the old saying goes, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So it's not broken. Things seem to be moving along okay. I am nervous to pull a big change to my listings, because anytime you change something big, or change from free shipping to paid shipping, or paid shipping to free shipping, or promoted listings to not, or whatever, anything you change adjusts the algorithm for your store, and it could take time for that to come back. So I'm not seeing enough of a decline in sales for me to suddenly want to make a big change to my store. But if you're promoting at high percentages and you're noticing that your sales are costing you a lot of money in ad fees, I would reevaluate and see where you're at and what happens if you maybe reduce that percentage or remove promoted listings entirely. But since I'm just doing it at 1% and it's not costing me much money and I'm still seeing sales, I am going to keep promoted listings on for my listings. I might change that in the future. I don't know. I'm going to see what happens, but I am a little hesitant to make a huge change to my store when things have been churning along okay. I do get why eBay is doing this. eBay does want the buyer experience to be streamlined and better, and like, but at the same time, I don't think it's that intrusive to see duplicate listings if one's promoted and one's organic. But I'm not saying that I support what eBay is doing, but I do understand it. So I'm not like super mad about it. Like this promoted listings thing does not really bother me. What has really bothered me is the 4% fee when you have too many item not as described returns. That's been the biggest road bump that I have had with eBay. It's caused me the most stress, the most anxiety. I've had to readjust the way I do returns, the way I ship my items out, the communications that I have with my buyers. It's been a monkey on my back. So that's more concerning to me, because that's cost me lots of money in the past. I mean, luckily right now I have gotten my returns way low and my INADs are pretty low, so I'm pretty good. But it's frustrating. That's really frustrating. The promoted listings thing, like it's not as concerning to me. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe my comments will just blow up and everyone will have different opinions, which I actually encourage. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? I want to hear them below. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me the changes you've made. What have you seen? Because again, I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm going to keep promoted listings for now. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll change my mind later. And then with the CEO resigning, you know, I don't really know a ton about him or the way he's run the company. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I pretty much just pay attention to the things that I put in my store, the items that I pick up, my sales, and my cost of goods. Like, I focus on the business side. I don't really focus on the overarching leadership side. And I don't know that it's wise to. I mean, changes happen. Hopefully the changes will be for good. But I don't know that leadership changes that high up will necessarily affect us as sellers in a huge way. I could be wrong. But what I know leads to success is focusing on the things I can control. Here's what I can control. I can control how many listings I get up, how many items I find, how hard I work, how determined I am. Those are things I can control. And generally when I've put in more work and listed more items, listed items that are heat, that people want, I've had more sales. Bottom line, whether I promote or not, whether CEOs change or not, that's the biggest factor in my success, and that'll be the biggest factor in your success regardless of anything else. I don't think promoted listings are perfect. I think it's been messy rolled out. It's been messy with the changes they've made. I think the extra 4% fee they rolled out a while ago is just the biggest annoyance to me. There's things like they don't offer the cubic shipping rate for USPS right on the eBay platform. So that's one other thing that's kind of like a why, you know, the monthly invoice at the end. I mean, we've talked about some of these things, but overall though, like despite those little things, I've made a lot of money on eBay. It has contributed to a lot of financial happiness with my family. So I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, throw it under the bus. I'm extremely grateful for eBay and everything it's done for my family. So I don't know, there's gonna be issues with every platform. I could do a whole video on issues with Amazon, but the bottom line is all these platforms allow us a place and an audience to sell our stuff, which I'll always be very grateful for. So that's my 2 cents. If you disagree, I encourage that actually. Tell me, let me know in the comments below. Try to keep it civil if you can. But those are my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear yours. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for watching my channel. I just hope that this can be a place where we encourage each other to grow and to learn and to focus on the positive and the good things. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Of course, there's gonna be hiccups here and there, but which we can totally address, but I am for the most part gonna focus on the things that we can control, growing our businesses, finding great products to sell, selling them effectively to our customers, growing our stores, etc. So anyway, you guys, thanks again, and as always, I will catch you next time.